Seth, we have a game that I want to play with you because
boy.
obviously these NBA playoffs have featured some great players from all different teams, all shining. But
All
I
over the
noticed
place.
something about it was about a week ago, I think, when I was just watching the games. I was like, oh yeah, he used to play for the Pistons, and
Sure.
he used to play for. I was like, you know what? Let me look into these former. Let me see how many former Pistons are there.
Sure.
And so I'm going to list off some teams here. All of them were either in the playoffs or the play-in.
Okay.
And you're going to try to name for me the player that is on their roster that was a Piston. Now, I'm going to establish a caveat here because I saw a post. Somebody pointed out DeAndre Jordan. DeAndre Jordan never played for the Pistons. I think he was on the team for like half a second, and then we let him go or something.
He was on the roster. I remember that.
Yeah, but he never played. It's like a not Mo Bamba. The other guy who's on the Knicks now. I can't think of his name. We've had Kemba Walker. Kemba, I think, was on us. He's on our team, but he never played a game. And then he walked or something. I don't remember what the situation was, but I'm not talking about those players. I'm talking about players who actually were on the court. They wore Pistons jerseys and they played at least one game. As in, there is a basketball reference page where you can see their stats for the team. Yes.
Okay.
All right. So we're gonna get started here. We need some good. Is there any music on? Let's see. Do we have any This is just background music. What about some? What does this sound like? Ooh. Let's do this. Feeding the Ducks. Actually, let me turn that up a little bit. Okay.
This is interesting.
This is
really
some good music.
Setting the mood.
This is setting the tone. Okay. All right. First team on the list. Your Milwaukee Bucks.
I would say. And do I get to know how many players, or is
there is just one player,
and
not
I believe,
per team, but if there are more, I will tell you.
Okay, I believe the player that is on the Bucks that played for the Pistons is Chris, not so Cash Money in the playoffs, Middleton.
Correct. Christopher Middleton
Okay.
played just one season with Detroit, 2012, 2013. He had 6-1-1.
Wow.
So wasn't very good for Detroit.
Well,
but wasn't given a whole lot of time. I don't know. I guess it might have been a trade. I don't remember how we got rid of him. I'm assuming it was a trade of some sort because
maybe.
I don't imagine he walked in free agency. I don't know why we would sign a rookie to a 1-year deal.
Probably not.
So yeah, not very good with the Pistons, but a short amount of time he was there.
Okay.
So very good. Let me turn this a little bit. A little too. Okay.
Now we're getting too ahead of ourselves. There we go.
All right. The next team, the New York Knickerbockers.
This one's tripping me up a bit. I can't. There's
you're gonna hate yourself.
Am
I
I
getting this one? I think. Or you're gonna be a little surprised. Or I don't know. I don't know how much you follow the Pistons.
I mean, I follow the NBA quite a bit. Did he play in the playoffs for the Knicks?
No, I don't think so. He was not a starter.
I don't know. This is the only guy that comes to mind. I don't think I'm correct, but Isaiah Hartenstein.
No. At least that's not the one I listed. So to be clear, I could miss some people, but
I don't think
that is not the one I have listed.
Who was it?
It was one Derrick Rose. Played 2 seasons with the Pistons.
That's right.
Had 17, 5, and 2. That's 5 assists, 2 rebounds.
Sure.
Wasn't a bad player for Detroit. He played from 2019 and then half of the 2020-2021 season when he was traded.
Yep.
So he was there the following year after we made the playoffs.
That's right.
It was the last year until Troy Weaver took over, and then Troy Weaver ended up selling him off. I mean, he was already past his prime, obviously, at that point. Injuries completely derailed this guy's career.
Unfortunate.
But not a terrible player for the Pistons.
Yeah.
So, he had some fun moments, and obviously
I think so.
now with the Knicks, not exactly putting up lights out numbers, but that's because he played 27 games this year and did not start a single one of them.
Correct.
So,
man, I kind of hate myself for that.
Now, to be fair, he didn't start many games with the Pistons. But
still,
he was on the team.
I do remember that. Yes.
Yes. Up next, we have the Boston Celtics.
Are there multiple Celtics, or is there just one?
Just one. Just one for the Boston Celtics.
Okay, so then I do know who it is. I believe the Celtics player that you are speaking of is Mr. Blake, I now have a mustache, Griffin.
Correct. One Blake Griffin.
Mm-hmm.
Now, he was one of the few players on this list that was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Dare I say, with the Pistons. On one leg, mind you.
That was the other thing.
Mr. Griffin played 4 years with the Pistons, 4 seasons, averaged 20, 5, and 6. That's 5 assists, 6 rebounds.
That's pretty good.
Pretty good stuff. Led them to the playoffs. And in the playoffs, he had 24.5 points, 6 assists, 6 rebounds. One of the better players, and was an all-star for the Pistons in 2018-2019. Yeah. He was acquired from the Clippers in the 2017-2018 season via a trade, and he lasted with the Pistons, as said, for 4 seasons until in 2020-2021, he was traded to the Brooklyn Nets, who then let him go, and he has been thus picked up by the Celtics, where he is averaging an abysmal 1.5 and 3.
Wow.
Very poor numbers. You really hate to see it. When he was in his prime, he really was good.
Yeah.
Obviously, we were just talking about Lob City. He was an all-star every year from 2010 to 2015. And he didn't even play his first season because he was hurt.
That's right.
He really is one of the great players. I don't know where he would stand as far as potentially Hall of Fame. Obviously, he's never won, but 6 All-Stars and 5 All-NBAs and All-Rookie and Rookie of the Year. I mean,
probably gonna get
he's
it.
probably gonna get in. I mean,
yep.
At the very least, he could get his number retired for the Clippers.
I think he will probably.
And he was a very fun player when he was here. Obviously, he was past his prime, but he did have that one pretty good year.
Yep.
Yeah. So that is that.
Okay.
But this one, I think you probably will get.
Okay.
From the Atlanta Hawks.
Why am I not getting this one?
Should be able to get this one.
Is he a starter?
No, not really. No.
Okay. I'm definitely gonna know who this is when you tell me, because I do not know who it is right now.
You're definitely gonna know. He's a relatively young player.
Okay. Man. Comes off the bench? Yeah, I don't know.
This would be one Sadiq Bey.
Oh.
Traded this year to the Atlanta Hawks.
Okay.
For the Pistons, he played 3 seasons. Had 14.5 points. 2 assists and 4 rebounds. So he was an all right young player. I kind of liked him. He really fell off this year.
Yeah.
In terms of his production. So the Troy Weaver-led Pistons said goodbye and shipped him off to Atlanta. And I don't know where his career is going to go at this point.
Who knows?
He could pop off. He could be just a journeyman. But
We'll see.
He was kind of a fun player. I believe he was all rookie. That's right, he was. He was all rookie, so could have something going for him. Has yet to get an all-star rep.
Yep.
But, he's a career right now 14-point-a-game player.
Okay.
But, moving on.
I said I didn't get that one either. Okay.
Moving on. So this is the one where there are the most.
Okay.
This is the Denver Nuggets. There are 4 former Pistons on the Denver Nuggets. So.
Okay. One of them is Bruce Brown.
That is correct.
Okay.
Bruce Brown. Let's pull up his stats. Bruce Brown
There's
spent just 2 seasons with Detroit.
Uh-huh.
He averaged 6, 2, and 3.5. So not very good.
No.
Really not very good. After his 2 seasons, he went over to Brooklyn, I assume, again, in a trade or perhaps just a release.
Uh-huh.
And then was picked up by Denver this year, where he's having a career year, averaging 11.5 points and 3 assists, 4 boards a game. So he is number 1.
There are 3 other guys on the Nuggets who
There
used to
are
play for
3
Pistons.
other guys on the Nuggets who played for the Pistons.
Was one of them KCP?
One of them was KCP. Contavious Caldwell Pope
Okay.
was actually, I remember when he was like on the Pistons.
Okay.
Because it was a decent amount of time ago. But he played for Detroit for 4 seasons, 11 points, 1.5 assists, and 3 boards a game. So
Okay.
again, not great numbers, not really blowing you away. After that, he moved over to the Lakers, where he won an NBA championship, and then was picked up by Washington the following year, and then was picked up by Denver the year after.
And a great pickup at that.
Yeah, he's had a pretty good year. His peak was mostly with the Pistons in terms of production, but yeah, he didn't stick around for that long. He missed out on the Pistons' playoff push in the late 2010s, but I always kind of liked him. I don't know why. I think it was just that his name is kind of fun.
Yeah,
but
I have no problems with him.
yeah. Well, there's still 2 more guys.
And I can't think of them.
Now, to be fair, these guys don't get much playing time, but let's see if you know their roster.
I don't pay enough attention to their roster. Should I just because I don't know, but I'm just gonna throw out one more name.
Okay.
Is Stanley Johnson on the Denver Nuggets?
He's not. He's currently playing for the Beijing Thundercats.
Ah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So who are the last 2?
One, Reggie Jackson is playing for the Nuggets. Reggie Jackson, of course, on the Detroit Pistons for 6 seasons. Was pretty good, actually. He was a decent player. 16 a game, 5 assists, 2 boards.
Okay.
Pretty good for the Pistons. Obviously was on the team in their playoff push of the mid to late 2010s. He was pretty good in the playoffs in 2018, 2019 as well. 17 points, 7 assists, 3 boards a game. Obviously, we didn't win a single game thanks to your Milwaukee Bucks, but Reggie Jackson was pretty dang good. After he left Detroit, by the way, actually, we acquired him in a trade from the Oklahoma City Thunder. After he left Detroit, we traded him over to the Los Angeles Clippers, and they traded him over to the Denver Nuggets this year. So he's a new addition to the Denver Nuggets. Not a whole lot of production from him. He's obviously kind of past his prime. 7 points, 3 boards, and 3 assists and 1 board a game. Not a whole lot of playing time. He's only started a couple of games and he's played 16. I don't even know if he's played any games in the playoffs.
I don't think he has.
He has, but he is not even averaging a point. So doesn't get the ball a whole lot.
Well, there you go.
But the last one is one Ish Smith.
I've heard that name.
Yes.
Know
Ish
nothing about
Smith.
him, but I've heard the name.
He is a career journeyman if there ever was one. He has played for a total of this is an inordinate amount of guys. Wow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, count them, 13 teams. 3 seasons he spent with Detroit. He averaged 9 points and 4.5 assists and 2 boards. He played originally, so this is crazy. So to start his rookie year, he was traded from the Rockets to the Grizzlies. That following season, the NBA, I guess he was released again. I don't really know how this worked. This is crazy. He was traded from the Golden State Warriors to the Orlando Magic. Once again, the following year, the Orlando Magic trade him to your Milwaukee Bucks. From there, he ended up with the Phoenix Suns for a season. The following year, he was traded from, I guess, somehow he got to the Oklahoma City Thunder and was traded to the Philadelphia 76ers. The following year, again, he was traded from the New Orleans Pelicans back to the Philadelphia 76ers. 2016, he was picked up by the Pistons and spent 3 years. Then he was picked up by the Wizards, spent a couple of years with them. Then he was traded from the Charlotte Hornets to the Washington Wizards and was then picked up the following year by the Denver Nuggets.
Wow.
Yeah. He has seen his fair share. His basketball reference page, like a clean set of jerseys here. And he's at basically every number, apparently. I mean, he was number 13, number 5, number 12, number 10. He was number 15 for your Milwaukee Bucks. He was number 3, number 8, number 5, number 4. He was number 1, number 14 with the Detroit Pistons, number 14 again with the Wizards, number 10, number 4, and then back to number 14.
Very interesting.
Yeah, he's had quite the career. I mean, not great. He's not a very good player, but he has had.
He's been everywhere.
He's played for basically every team.
Yeah, pretty much.
Moving on to the Minnesota Timberwolves. And no, it is not Dylan Brooks.
Unfortunate.
I know he doesn't play for the Timberwolves, but
he might. Is Taurean Prince on the Timberwolves, Mike?
If he is, he's not the one that's on this list.
Okay. He was there at one point.
With Detroit?
For Minnesota, I think.
Yeah, but he never played for Detroit. He's on Minnesota. He never played for Detroit. Is he related to Tayshaun? No. Definitely not.
I don't think so.
No.
I thought that's weird. Okay. I could have sworn Taurean played for the Pistons.
This is another relatively young player.
Okay. So I'm gonna guess last time you said he was relatively young. It was Sadiq Bey, who's in his junior season? Third season?
He was taken in the 2020 draft.
Okay.
21 was Cade, 22 was Ivy.
Let's see here. Who's a young player on the Timberwolves?
He does not get a whole lot of playing time. He's not a starter.
Okay. Then in that case, I got no idea.
Well, you probably do know this player, but not in the NBA. Former Big Ten Player of the Year for the University of Iowa Hawkeyes, one Luka Garza.
I do know that name.
Garzilla played one season with Detroit, averaged 5 points, half an assist, and 3 boards a game.
Wow.
Needless to say, he was terrible. Very, very bad. did not transition well into the NBA. Obviously, us Michigan State fans, we are well aware of Luka Garza and just how good he was for the University of Iowa. But was not a very good NBA player. Just goes to show you can be very good in college, but you will get destroyed in the NBA.
Yes.
But after spending just 1 year with the Pistons, he was picked up by the Minnesota Timberwolves. I believe he also spent a little bit of time. He wasn't. It's not. Don't have any basketball reference stuff, but I think he was on the Trailblazers for like 30 seconds.
And then they just
released him, and Minnesota picked him up, and he's just a bench player. He never started a single game.
Yep.
He's actually having a better year, but granted, much smaller sample size.
Yeah.
6.5 points, same amount of assists, slightly less rebounds. So maybe it evens out.
Maybe.
But funny enough, he actually started for the Pistons. He started 5 games, 12.2 minutes per game.
Wow.
So he was not like, he was for like a small sliver of time. There were some people who were like, hey, we got something here. And no, we did not. We in fact, we had nothing.
No.
That was the idea.
Not with,
No. Moving on to the Phoenix Suns.
There's somebody on the Sun, dude.
Yes.
You guys have too many players everywhere in the league.
But we are the league's farm system.
Well, that's true. Has he played at all in the playoffs?
No. I mean, I don't think so, at least.
Does he play at all for the Suns?
He started 1 game.
Big man or guard?
He plays the point guard position.
It's not campaign. Or is it?
No, it's not.
No.
This is going to be a name that when you hear it, you're not going to be upset. You're just going to be like, oh, yeah. Like, him.
Okay. Then in that case, I don't know who it is.
One Saban Lee. Saban Lee spent 2 seasons with the Pistons. He had 5.6 points. In 3 assists and 2 boards a game. After his 2 seasons with the Pistons, he was traded from the Philadelphia 76ers to the Phoenix Suns.
Interesting.
Yeah. Not a very good player, but a former Piston nonetheless. He was another guy like Luka Garza where people were like, oh, maybe we got something here. No.
And then no.
We definitely don't.
No.
Up next, the Los Angeles Clippers.
Well, I was going to say Reggie Jackson, but apparently he got traded.
No, he is no longer on the Clippers.
Let's see. I have no clue. What position did he play?
He is a center.
Is he... There's one name that comes to my mind when you say center. I don't know if he played for the Pistons, though. We're going to go out on a limb here, and we're going to say Mason Plumlee.
Correct! Mason Plumlee.
Wow.
Played for the Pistons for 1 season.
Okay.
Probably his best season.
There you
He
go.
had 10 points, 3 assists, and 9 boards.
Okay.
He was not terrible.
Pretty
But
average.
Mason Plumlee's history, he started with the Brooklyn Nets, was picked up by the Portland Trailblazers, where he was then the following year traded to the Denver Nuggets, spent some time there, picked up by the Pistons, then picked up by the Charlotte Hornets, and then this year the Charlotte Hornets traded him to the Los Angeles Clippers. He doesn't get a whole lot of playing time, and he's just sort of a perennial close to 10 points a game kind of guy. But he had a pretty good season with the Pistons, which is why the Hornets thought maybe they could pick him up, and didn't really work out. The only stat he has ever led the NBA in is games.
Wow.
So he has played 82 games.
That's pretty
2
cool.
times in his career. One with Portland and one with Denver.
Very nice.
So, yeah. Mason Plumlee, Pistons legend.
All
Up
right.
next, the Sacramento Kings.
Well, why am I blanking? You're smiling like I should know this person.
I think you should, but he's not like he's not a great player. But
Uh-huh.
you do know who this player is. Probably through me, if anything. That's how you learn. This is how you learn about all the bad players.
Well, yeah, I just learned about Pistons players. Yeah.
You just ask me. I'll tell you any player on our roster, some irrelevant guy, some player that nobody's heard of. That
Is Trey Lyles still on the Kings?
Trey Lyles is still on the Kings. He played
play for the
one
Pistons?
season. Actually, not even a full season. He played half a season with Detroit, where he averaged 10 points, 1 assist, and 4 boards. Again, wasn't terrible. Before that, he played a couple of seasons for the Utah Jazz, then was picked up by the Denver Nuggets, then the San Antonio Spurs, and then we picked him up, and that very year traded him over to the Sacramento Kings, where he has played now for 2 seasons.
Interesting.
Not a terrible player. We ended up acquiring, I believe, Marvin Bagley in that trade.
That sounds about right to me.
Not exact. We did. If anything, nothing changed with that.
Yeah.
Trade. We could have kept Trey Lyles, and we would have been about as well.
Yeah, maybe a little bit better with Marvin Bagley, but
Yeah, well, one can only hope.
yeah, well, yeah.
Up next, we have the Memphis Grizzlies.
Dylan Brooks. Oh wait, that hasn't
No,
happened
not yet.
yet.
Now this one I think you should know.
He doesn't. I'm assuming he doesn't start.
No, he does not.
Is he like pretty common off the bench?
Yeah, I think he's decently common. He gets about like 25 minutes a game.
Huh. What's the position?
He is a shooting guard.
I have one name. Don't know if he's ever played for the Pistons though. Is it
Oh.
Tyus Jones?
It is not Tyus Jones.
Okay.
Would you like the answer?
I would, yeah.
It is one Luke Kennard,
Oh.
Pistons
I
legend
forgot.
of the
Yeah, I
late
forgot he's over
2010s. He spent 3 seasons with Detroit,
Mm-hmm.
averaged 9, 2, and 2.
Wow.
Not very good,
Well,
Seth. Not very good at all. But he was on the playoff roster in 2018-2019.
mm-hmm.
So, in that series, he was actually pretty dang good. Like,
Okay.
I most of these guys I've said are like okay. No. He had a 60% 3-point percentage. He averaged 15 points a game, an assist a game, and 4 boards a game, while shooting 60%, leading the league in 3-point percentage in the playoffs
Mm-hmm. For 4 games, but
for 4 games. He shot 60%.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
that's pretty good.
He shot better from 3 than he did from 2.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And that was, I think, part of the reason why Pistons fans decided to keep him along after that year. And he was pretty good the following year.
Yeah.
15 points, 4 assists, 3 rebounds. Following year, we just let him go. We were selling off assets once Troy Weaver got here. Picked up by the Los Angeles Clippers. He played a few seasons there. And this year was traded to the Memphis Grizzlies.
That's right.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
Final one. And this
Okay.
one is an actually notable player for the Pistons. From the Chicago
I was
Bulls.
gonna say there was one guy who I was waiting for, and this one is Andre Drummond.
That is correct. Easily the best player on this list. One Andre Drummond. And the fact that he is the best player on this list goes to show you just how bad the Pistons were post going to work.
Correct.
But to give Andre Drummond credit, spent 8 seasons with the Pistons, 14 points a game, an assist a game, and 13 boards a game. He was absolutely unbelievable at getting rebounds for the Pistons.
Yes, he was.
Led the league on multiple occasions with the Pistons. 14 rebounds in 2015-2016. 16 rebounds in 2017-2018. 15 boards in 2018-2019. 15 boards again in 2019-2020.
Crazy.
I mean, he was a solid player. I mean, a 4-time NBA or a 4-time rebound champion, all NBA, all rookie, 2-time All-Star, both with the Pistons. But he just had something about him. He just didn't have it. He didn't have, as they say, that dog in him. And that was really the epitome of the Pistons of the late 2010s. In the playoffs, again, he was pretty good. Led the league in rebounds in playoffs in 2018-2019 with 13. 14 points a game that year, 16 points the prior playoff appearance. He was not a bad player by any means. After we got rid of him in 2019-2020, he was traded to the Cleveland Cavaliers.
That's right.
The year after, the Cavaliers traded him over to the Los Angeles Lakers. The year after that, he was traded to he was traded from the Philadelphia 76ers to the Brooklyn Nets, and this year was picked up by the Chicago Bulls.
Yes.
Plays the center position, and Andre Drummond. I feel nothing towards him, if not animosity, because he just has this he's just got something about him. I just don't like him. He's just
That's understandable.
He just wasn't ever that guy, and it sucks because if he put a little bit of effort into his work, if he had a little bit of work ethic, he could have been something for us. We saw the glimmers, and it just never came to be. Yeah. So that was the former Pistons on the playoff team rosters. I think what this list goes to show, the Pistons have had some terrible ass players. We've had, I mean, looking at this list, all of the players that we had, and I mean at the time we had them. I'm not going to count Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose is a Hall of Famer. That's obviously 100%. Derrick Rose and Blake Griffin. That almost certainly both those guys, you could make the argument for the Hall of Fame. Yeah, that's not the rest of these guys. I don't know. Probably not. Probably not. I mean, Chris Middleton, probably not a Hall of Famer. Sorry. Sadiq Bey, I guess we'll see, but probably not. He's not on the trajectory. Bruce Brown, no. KCP, no. Reggie Jackson, no. Ish Smith, I mean, in our hearts.
Ish Smith will be there.
Yes. Garzilla, if he's in the Hall of Fame, I'm in the Hall of Fame.
That's true.
Saban Lee, no.
Same.
Plumlee, no. Lyles, no. Kennard, no. Drummond, again, he's more borderline, but no. he's not good enough. He's totally fumed out. He's flamed out in horrible fashion. But
correct.
That was our little segment. That was fun, wasn't it? We got to go through memory lane. So many great Pistons legends.
Oh yeah. I don't think I did as bad as I thought I was.